Separate lists of electors and ballots required for general and regional elections. GECOM Counsel. By news source Guyana, the National Registration Amendment Act of 2022 necessitates separate lists of electors for general and regional elections, along with the requirement for ballots for both elections to be printed separately, according to Kurt De Silva, attorney for the Guyana Elections Commission (GECOM), in submissions to the High Court. It is now essential for ballots for general elections and regional elections to be printed separately. Additionally, separate lists of electors must be generated for the two elections, as some individuals may qualify to vote in the general elections but not in the regional elections, De Silva stated in his written submissions to the court. De Silva is representing GECOM in the house-to-house verification case filed by the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, Chief Election Scrutineer, Carol Smith-Joseph. While acknowledging that residency is not a requirement to vote in the general election, he asserted that residency remains a constitutional requirement for Guyanese to participate in regional elections under Article 73(1) of the Constitution. This article states that members of a regional democratic council shall be elected by persons residing in the region and registered as electors for the purpose of Article 159. General and regional elections are often treated as a single election in Guyana, but due to differences in residency requirements, they are, in fact, two separate elections designed to elect two distinct groups of representatives, he explained. General elections are held to elect members of the National Assembly, and the results determine the presidential candidate from the list that receives the most votes. Conversely, regional elections are conducted to elect members of the regional democratic councils, which are part of the local government structure established by the Constitution. De Silva elaborated that although these elections are separate, Section 18 of the Local Democratic Organs Act stipulates that if the elections occur on the same day, the ballot paper for each election shall be printed on the same sheet of paper and carry the same serial number, but must remain distinct from each other. In Guyana, general and regional elections are traditionally held on the same day, leading to the misconception that this arrangement is mandatory. However, it is permitted by law, not required. He pointed out that before the amendments made in 2022, verification of residency was conducted for all individuals seeking registration. This practice eliminated concerns regarding ballots for both general and regional elections being on the same sheet. However, due to the amendments, this provision is no longer applicable and requires re-evaluation. It cannot be addressed in the manner suggested by the applicant, as this suggestion effectively reimposes a residency requirement for Guyanese citizens in general elections, despite this court having expressly stated that such a requirement would be unconstitutional. Instead, statutory provisions must be amended to ensure that election conduct complies with the Constitution, necessitating the separate printing of ballots for general and regional elections, he stated. De Silva added, separate lists of electors must be created for both elections, as some individuals may qualify to vote in general elections but not in regional elections, such as Guyanese citizens residing outside of Guyana. He highlighted that claims and objections concerning these lists would be based on different criteria, with residency being a factor for regional elections but not applicable to Guyanese citizens in general elections. De Silva informed the court that the residency requirements for voting in general elections and regional elections are constitutional, whereas the inclusion of ballots for both elections on a single sheet is statutory. Therefore, the latter must align with and be subordinate to the former, not the other way around. Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George is scheduled to deliver her ruling on the case on Friday, March 28.